Welcome to Bird Surveys with Brendan. Obviously, a couple things to get out of the way first. Fit check. Just make sure you're wearing whatever is in the RMS, whether it's hard hat, safety glasses, safety vest, obviously, long pants, long sleeves, typical stuff. Make sure you got all that squared away and you're in a safe location. Now, obviously, you're going to need your binoculars, right? And you may actually need a spotting scope, like if, for example, if you have a buffer that includes half a mile for Swainson's hawk and there's some trees way out there, you may need your spotting scope to see, A, the status of the nest. Are there chicks? Are they feeding chicks? And what are the species? Also, always make sure what your survey area is. If this is my study area, I want to know what the buffer is around, so I'm looking at all those trees that are included. And then once you identify that, you need to survey that whole area for the birds. Now, there's a couple steps to this. One includes surveying all potential habitat that includes these trees, any potential ground nesters, or shrub nests. Also, do not forget our ground nesters and brush nesters like loggerhead shrikes and meadowlarks. Always check your poles and towers for hawk nests. And remember, although this may not be the ideal habitat, gravelly substances on the ground can be good for killdeer, so be alert for those. You may walk right up on them. And remember, drop nests like oriole nests or other non-typical stick nests that you should watch for as well in your trees and shrubs and riparian zones. Now, bird nest surveys also, you got to be a little bit of a detective. For example, there's a crow calling up on that pole, another crow over there. So instead of always looking for just nests in the trees, which, again, if you find one, let's say, you're going to want to see, is that an active nest, is it an old nest, and what's the status? It's really important to find out what type of bird is in that nest. Maybe, like a good detective, I want to go back 100 feet, 50 feet, hide behind some trees, something, and watch to see what is coming to that nest. Is there a bird bringing something in there? And then identify that bird. Super important to find out what kind of bird it is, and there's ways to do that as well. Now, the age of pocketbook bird guides is kind of gone, unless you're nostalgic or maybe you're old, but the age of the bird apps is here. Now, this one, everyone has their preferences. For example, this one's Merlin, right? I like this one, but there are many. For example, this will tell you between different swallows, you can really look at the different types of features that will help you identify them, as well as bird calls that they make and their ranges and other information. Now, another really cool feature, which is somewhat newer, is sort of like SoundHound for birds, and that can really help you at least key in to what might be at your project site and give you an eye to then do your detective work to see what kind of bird. So now with the SoundHound function, really you can just press a button and it will listen for the birds and it'll identify what those species are closely, and it'll help you search. So again, do your detective work and look maybe from the bottom up into the tree to help you identify those small stick nests. And then once you do, is there a bird there? Is it active? What kind of bird? Do your detective work. Again, if you see birds flying overhead or passing through, you're going to want to document every bird you see during your survey and pay attention to where they go. And again, their behavior. Are they courting also? Maybe you don't see them building a nest, but are hawks, they doing their thing in the sky? It's that time. Maybe they're getting down. You go and document that. Again, part of our detective work, when are birds most active? When's the best time to see the birds? Early, first thing in the morning, or in the evening, those crepuscular times. That's when you're going to see the most activity. But if you do come out like in the hotter part of the day, a lot of the birds are going to be hunkered down. So I did have a biologist coworker tell me those activities, when you do see birds hanging out in those middle of the day times, they might be doing more essential behaviors like feeding young, building nests. So really keep a close eye when you do them, because those activities will indicate that there might be a nest. So then once you do find a bird nest, you're going to want to take photos of it if you can through your binoculars. What's the species? Whether they have chicks or they're building it, where is it? What's the status? And then they'll figure out a buffer from there. If it's 50 feet or 75 feet for those passerine birds, or 150 feet, 200 feet for raptors, what have you. So now we got all the steps that you need is your safety, your survey area, what you're looking for, be a bird detective, what are they doing, follow the behavior, find out what bird that is using your apps and other knowledge, as well as document the status. What is the nest doing and where is it along? And then your buffer, document your results, get your photos, and you're good to go.